Welcome to Stress-Free Solutions with Sarah. I'm your host, Sarah Elise, a stress management and fitness coach, advocating the world to trust their gut more often. I discuss various ways to manage stress and share personal stories of guest experts who have gone through the same stressors as all of you at home. Hey there, super moms of the universe. Let's play a game called hide and seek. No, not with your kids or that mysteriously vanishing left sock. It's time to seek out you in the everyday hide and seek of life. Introducing Mastering the Soul System, a 12-week journey to reclaim your time and energy. This course is your gateway to finding balance, energy, and joy in every aspect of your bustling life. Picture this, 12 weeks where the words mom and mayhem don't always go together. Rediscover yourself with every breath in our Soulful Mind Weeks. Sing out loud in the shower or car, off-key is absolutely fine, and dance during our Soulful Body sessions, and embrace the quiet whispers of your heart in our Soulful Spirit adventures. It's about time your spirit got a front row seat, don't you think? Join us on this journey. Embrace the harmony between being a dedicated mom and your personal aspirations. Mastering the soul system, because darling, in the noise, find your silence. And maybe, just maybe, a bit of that elusive thing called me time. You deserve to thrive, not just survive. So come on, slide into our world at www.livewellenhanceyou.com/soul system. Your journey back to you starts now.
Sandi Glandt is a high-performance productivity coach, TV host, podcast host, best-selling author, wife, and mom of two. She helps overwhelmed women and mompreneurs reclaim their time, energy, and freedom by using her proven S-Cubed framework, systems, strategy, and support. As former Mrs. International 2022, Sandi continues to use her platform to advocate for women's mental health, empowering women to shift out of stress and burnout into becoming the confident leaders their lives and businesses require. Sandi, this is the perfect way to end this year. 2025 has been great, but I know it's been filled with a lot of challenges for many people. So just kind of inspiring them to take charge of 2026. I'm just super excited to have you on. And I love to slay your day.
Thank you. Thank you. I am so excited to be here with you. I can't wait to get into this conversation because I know it's going to help a lot of people.
Now, I have a major question because you're a mom of two, and balancing work and being a great mom can be very challenging. What has been your saving grace through all of this time as a mompreneur?
Yeah, I feel like there's so many different ways I can answer this. It could be morning routines, it could be scheduling, but I want to share something that has really kind of been a strong anchor for me. And again, I know this is going to help so many women. And it's actually advice that my 96-year-old grandmother gave me, who had 4 boys, was an entrepreneur, a teacher, real estate investor. I mean, the OG of productivity. And her advice, and I mentioned this in my book as well, and in my new book coming out in January, I mention her in there. She's really my muse and what inspired me to kind of take this path into what I do now and how I help women. And it's honoring your season. I think that when we're in a heavy season, whether it's heavier in business or heavier with the kids, it feels like you're never going to get out of it. And it feels like, even coming up for air, like, when is that going to happen? And so I think that as we navigate the end of 2025 and going into 2026, just recognizing what season you're in, because it might be heavier for you in business or family or both. It could be a season where you're really heavily feeling like both of those, there requires a lot of you. And so what I would say is everything is cyclical. And just honoring those seasons. Like I actually just had this conversation with my husband because we're really in the thick of it right now. My business, I always say, thank you, God. We're booked, busy, and blessed. And there is a lot of moving pieces, both with us personally, professionally. And so just honoring that and knowing like, okay, if I'm a little bit heavier right now when it comes to business, like where can I show up for my spouse or for my kids or for myself? Yeah. And just knowing that everything has a season, nothing lasts forever, and just recognizing like what is going to fulfill you and where is it going to require a little bit more attention is so helpful because you realize like it's not going to last forever, the good or the bad. And knowing like different seasons are going to require different versions of you.
That's such a good point. And I do feel there is different seasons, even when, you're a new mom versus when your kids are in preschool versus your kids are now at elementary, middle, high school.
Definitely.
It's just completely different worlds every season. So as like your kids progress, like what has been your steady constant?
Yeah. So for me, I would say, I've loved working out. I don't know. There's a chip in me that has that, just, and it's funny because my husband and I joke about this. He's like, I hate working out. And I'm like, I love it because for me, truly, it's more mental than it is physical. And I think that fitness for me has always been something that, number one, I know it's for me. Like we do so much as mothers and wives and business owners for others that like for me, it's been my home to come to. And I love weightlifting. That's kind of like my go-to. But even, something like a bike ride, a walk. Like I remember days when both my boys, because now they're 5 and 8, when they were little, and I would just get out the stroller and push them for a walk around the block, like really just having my constants. And so for me, I would say having that constant routine. So like a morning routine, a nighttime routine, my workouts and sleep. Like I really, really honor at least 8 hours of sleep so I can recharge and, refuel my body.
Yeah. Now it's interesting you say that about sleep because moms who are mompreneurs, they feel like, well, when our kids go to bed, that's time when we can work.
Yeah.
I know that that's a productivity thing. And I know you teach women to prioritize with the big money moves instead of drowning in busyness.
Yeah.
What's the suggestion for those moms that are like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I can't make any time for that because I can't make time for sleep because I gotta work.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would say look at where your priorities are. I mean, listen, I was in the camp 15 years ago where I would go to bed late. I would be up until midnight and I'd sleep until 9, 10 o'clock, depending on how late I was actually going to bed. By the way, this was before kids. And then I remember my husband saying to me, he's like, Sandi, after I had my first son, Jake, who's 8, he said, this is your Achilles heel. Like the fact that you're not getting up early. Like at the time, I think he was probably getting up at 8. Spoiler alert, I get up at between 5:30 and 5:50, or 5:30 and 5:50 is kind of the window that I get up in right now. And I'm not saying everyone has to be in the 5 a.m. club, but whatever time you're getting up, try and nudge yourself at least a good 20 to 30 minutes earlier. So you have some time for you. You don't feel like the second you're waking up, you're in reactive mode, because that's where I was. I would just kind of wake up when my kids were up, or when Jake was getting up and immediately have to be in mommy mode. Yeah. Right now, and I think, again, this goes back to the workouts and the me time, I get up, there's a routine, there's a schedule. And for the full first, at least minimum hour to hour and a half a day, it's just my time. I call it the golden hour. So in my new book, I talk about that. It's called Slay Your Way. And I have a whole chapter in there about the golden hour. Again, it doesn't have to be a 5 a.m. for you, but just like prioritizing your time. So you're not coming from a reactive place, you get to be proactive. And again, just like having those little check-ins for yourself, because if you're working late and the kids go down and now you feel like you have to play catch up, one of the things I always talk to my clients about, and you had mentioned it, is the big money moves. So being able to focus on not a long laundry list of to-dos, but focusing on what are your 3 big money moves personally, professionally, that every single day you lock in on that help move you forward, and not a long laundry list of 20 things that you have to do each day.
Yeah, that gets really overwhelming and you burn
Yeah.
out pretty quickly when you have that laundry list of things.
Yeah.
Really like that, choosing 3 things, but not just for career, but also personal.
Yeah. Yeah. And it helps you to prioritize. I mean, again, if you're looking at a laundry list of 20 things to do every single day, that is very overwhelming. And you're literally just like checking boxes to get these things done versus like maybe you can look at one of those on the 20 and that'll knock down like a domino effect, knock down 2 or 3 of the others. Right. So it's just being more intentional about where we're putting our time and our energy. And again, as a busy working mom, or if you're in the mom mode right now or heavier on the work mode, it really allows you to show up fully where you're at and not feel like you're just running in circles all day long.
What if you decide to write Slay Your Way?
Yeah. So Slay Your Day. And if you're watching this, you can see it behind me. There's a book and also a journal that goes with it. So Slay Your Day was the first version, right? And the first version of Slay Your Day was really like tactical. It was tips on routines and strategies. And every time I would do interviews, people would, ask me like, what is Slay Your Day? And like, what does that mean? And so Slay Your Way is also tips and the hacks and the strategies and the routines, but it's not just the Sandi Glandt way, right? It's like what works for you. Because Sarah, for you, you're running your business and you're in mom mode and wife mode. And so the tips that are in Slay Your Way, you can take and implement no matter what you have going on in your life. And so it's really a plug and play. So anyone at any stage can implement what's in that book. And also, again, a little spoiler alert, the book also has recipes in there because so many of my clients on Instagram, I'm always posting meals and my dinners. And as a busy working mom, all of my meals have to check 3 boxes. They have to be under 30 minutes because I don't have time to cook a full gourmet meal every single night. They have to be an easy cleanup and healthy. So there's about 15 to 20 recipes in the book that are specifically for busy working moms that are like, I want my kids to eat healthy or my family to eat healthy. Quick, under 30 minutes and easy cleanup, meaning it's only like 1 or 2 dishes.
That's incredible. We need more of those. I feel there are amazing cookbooks out there and it's like 5 ingredients this. But we as mompreneurs, like, it's true. We're exhausted by the end of the day. We're working, we're being with our kids, we're doing it all. And at the end of the day, like, we do need something that's going to fill our soul. And the best way to do that is through nutrition.
Yeah.
So I love that. I love that you're adding that into the mix of this book. Thanks.
Yeah. I mean, I knew it's so funny because as I was like posting my own recipes on Instagram, I think that's the great, like within, an hour or 2, you're getting real life feedback. And I'd be posting these meals and I'd always say, I'd have the 3 boxes, like check boxes, like healthy, easy, clean up, and under 30 minutes. And so many women would be like, what are you cooking? How do I do this? What's the recipe? And so I'm like, all right, there's something here, So I compiled the list of all of my go-tos. And again, they're like so easy and healthy. I want my kids eating healthy. We don't go out, if we do go out to eat and they're ordering like mac and cheese and chicken fingers, they're eating salmon and fish. And there's meatballs in the cookbook, but also you can these are meals that like your kids can be making with you, which also makes it really fun. And my kids are always in the kitchen with me.
That's awesome. Now
I'm excited. I'm excited to get this in the hands of all the moms.
Cool. It's really cool. And it's unique because I like that you're having a mix of both, not just it's a cookbook or this is going to be a great strategizing tool too. And you've been using your SP framework, system strategy support, and it's been changing thousands of women's lives. Which as you feel has resonated the most with women and women resist the most?
Yeah. I think, okay, so when it comes, so there's system strategy and support. I think from what I've seen over the years is that a lot of times, and even within my high performance academy, a lot of times women are like, well, like, what does it mean to have a system? Like, just that word alone seems really technical. And
Yes.
so they don't, it's kind of hard for them to grasp, like, well, it sounds good. Like, I want a system. What is it? How do I incorporate it? And so the easiest way to like explain having a system is anything that you're doing repetitive. I don't care if it's your laundry, your maybe you have certain medications or grocery shopping that you do on a personal side or on the business side, sending out emails, anything with your CRM, anything with your team. Like having a system will save you time. So once the women understand, like, wow, systems equal time and time back equals more time for myself and my family or whatever they want to do. Like, I always joke with them, I'm like, if you had 1 extra hour a day and you had 7 hours back in your week, like, what would you do with that time? And I hear everything. I hear massages, spend more time with my kids, read a book. Like, it's great. I actually was sharing this at an event that I just spoke at. And this woman was like, I want to learn, like she was saying she wanted to learn how to do art again. And I'm like, when was the last time we actually did something for ourselves and had the bandwidth and the time to do it?
Yeah.
So it's really great because, again, systems, when you have them, free up your time. And that's what we all want. I mean, that is the one commodity that we have that we will never get back. So my goal is to give women the time freedom back in their hands again to choose, what they want to do with that. So I would say systems is the thing that once the women understand what it is and how it works within their homes and their businesses, they're like so excited about it because they realize how much freedom it gives them. And then the support, almost immediately, the women are like, yes, having this kind of caliber of women in their lives that support, collaborate, lift them up, speak their names in rooms they're not even in, they're immediately like, where was this my whole life? Like, well, I wish I would have had this, years ago, which is what I wanted when I moved here and I didn't have it. So I created it. But the academy and the women that are in there, they're incredible. And so it's really a community, and specifically the support part of that, that's a game changer because they don't realize, if they don't have that support right now, how much that can really lift them up.
It's something that can connect to support if we don't have the support is our mental health.
Mm-hmm.
What's one subtle sign a woman is headed toward burnout long before she realizes it?
Yeah. So, I mean, look, it could be a number of different signs. Sleep, check in with your sleep. Are you able to actually shut off your mind and put down your phone? I know, again, for a lot of women, I mean, myself, I work from home. This is my home office. And if you feel like you cannot put the phone down because you're going to miss something or an opportunity or a text message or a ping or a ding, right? Like that is not a healthy relationship with the work or the phone, right? So just those little pieces that might seem normal to you where you're like, oh, well, it's here and it's on and it's so accessible. It's okay to shut it off. As a matter of fact, for me, most days I'm shutting down the workday between 3:30 and 4. My kids have sports after school activities that I take them to where I have to leave the house at 3:30, which is great for me because I'd be like working, working, working. And then you don't realize like, yes, I need to turn it off. And just knowing that that's okay. And I think not that any of us need permission, but just knowing like, it's okay to take a break. It's okay to stop and do something for yourself before you get to the point of getting to the exhaustion, overwhelm, and burnout where you feel like you're just putting out fires all day long.
Saying that you're unplugging at 3:30 is absolutely mind-blowing because we are on our phones so much. And I don't know about you, but I'm worried for the next generation a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now that I have a kiddo, I'm like,
Yeah.
what's gonna happen? What is life gonna look like? And I'm trying to reduce the amount of time that I'm using it, that she using it,
Right.
seeing like the TV. And it stinks because sometimes you're like, I need to sit at my laptop and work on something. And
Mhm.
my kid is going to be like watching an educational program, but it's still a screen.
Yeah.
So
And you know
yeah,
what, Sarah? You know what? I have this in the book too, which is why I'm so excited about this book because
definitely.
it really is a mix of like the practical, tactical, but then also like I have a whole chapter in there about going back to the basics where I told my husband, I already have two more books in the works that are like will be the next, you know? But there's a part of the book that I'm talking about, like, there's things that I want to do and that I do with the kids that don't like require me to be off the phone. And I'll give you some examples. My son, Jordy, who's 5, he loves art and painting and coloring and like making, like creating, right? So just recently in the past year, he'll be like, Mommy, will you sit down and color with me? And I have gotten like, I cannot draw to save my life, but we'll sit down and I start coloring with him, or we'll start drawing or, you know, painting. And I'm like, I've become so in love with this because he brought this to my attention. It's something he loves to do. And I am nowhere near my phone. Like I'm literally sitting there coloring. Same thing in the kitchen. Like my kids love baking. They love cooking. So about a year ago, I was really in my like sourdough baking era. And I don't know if you've ever made sourdough or for the ladies that are listening, but it takes a lot of time. Like it would take at least a full day or day and a half to make 1 or 2 loaves, at least the way that I was making it. And so you're not on a phone. You're literally like working with your hands. And so whether it's gardening, painting, crafting, baking, cooking, like all these things, we've actually gone back to that. Puzzles, things that don't require all this technology. And so I've really loved like kind of getting into that, even sports, right? Because you're not obviously on your phone, where like now they're being incorporated into doing a lot of these activities that don't require the technology.
That's that's really great. That's a wonderful reminder for people that we can always go back to the basics.
Yeah. Yeah. And what a great opportunity to
Yes.
connect with our kids. And again, I can't even take credit for this. This is Jordy, like my 5-year-old, right? Where he came to me and was like, Mom, will you draw? Will you color with me? I'm like, I don't know how to draw, but I'll learn. I'll learn with you. You know, so what a great way to connect and really like get to go deeper. Same thing, he loves the magnet tiles, right? So like building and just sitting on the floor and building and having those moments of connection. It's so beautiful.
I just got those magnet tiles for Hanukkah. I'm really excited about that.
Oh my gosh, there's so much fun. And again, like they get to use their imagination and creativity. My older son Jake loves fishing. He's like, Mommy, buy me some more shrimp. I'm like, I just bought you a bag 4 days ago. He's like, I'm already gone through. So that to me, and you know, to your point of like, where is it going to be? What's going to look like for them in 10 or 15 years? I have a feeling we might kind of go backwards because I think everyone's feeling the pull of the phones and the technology being too much,
Yeah.
that it's going to take women like you and me and the women that are listening to be like, you know what, like, let's like put a cap on this and get back to the gardening, the baking, the fishing, the cooking, the building, and
Yeah.
really, again, back to the basics.
I kind of want to go back to your childhood because you had incredible women to watch, your mom, your grandma, and they made sacrifices.
Yes.
And I know that because of them, like this is a big part of your mission, why you do what you do.
Yeah.
What is the biggest myth you want to break about what it means to be a good mom?
This is so good. Well, I think that at the heart of it, right? Because we all, in some way, shape, or form, feel mom guilt, right? If we're working too much, we're not home enough. If we're spending too much time with the kids, the husband's not getting enough attention, right? There's always people pulling and needing our time and attention. And I think the biggest myth that I want to bust, and again, I talk about this in Slay Your Way, is I truly believe at my heart and at the center, the core of it all, that we can have it all. We can be great mothers and wives and women in business. But again, I truly believe that it goes back to the heart of really having your finger on the pulse of your life and looking at what it is that you want to create. And there's even a saying, well, you can have it all, but you can't have it all at once. I don't even believe that. I just think that if you really want to have a great marriage, the relationship with your kids, the time for yourself, the whatever level feels right for you in your business that you want to create, that it's just a constant checking in. Like, where are you and what does that look like? But that does go back to the support piece. Like, I have built a team within my business. I have a support system within my home. I have different automations and systems. And again, all the things that I talk about that are the practical. But I think that we really have to constantly be checking in and looking at where we're at, because in a blink, you can be really far to one direction, or a week later, you can be really far on the other side of it, whichever side, that looks like for you. So I think that, I look back to my own mom and grandmom, and it's funny because they are very different. So my grandmom, meaning my dad's mom. So not mom's mom, but dad's mom. And she was, again, the teacher, the real estate investor, mother of four, devoted wife. Like, she was doing everything. And she was so organized and she was so on top of every little thing, which made it all work together. And then I look at my mom, and she didn't have those systems in place. She didn't have that support in place. And so I know that she always felt so overwhelmed, but she did. It's like we had a conversation and she said to me, I didn't feel like I was ever thriving. She's like, I was always just trying to survive. And so I think at the heart of all of what I do, whether it's my coaching, my courses, my books, my programs, I'm really speaking like to that woman, And so I think that we really just have to look at, like, where are we showing up? Is our life, because, we're going into the new year.
Yeah.
And all of us are vision casting and talking about vision boards and goals. And it's like, are your goals really in alignment with like what you want? Not what society says or what somebody else wants for you. Like, what do you really want? And then from there, decide what it is that you're doing and the goals that you're building and the life that you're leading. Because at the end of the day, you have to be happy with you and your decisions.
Totally. Yes, I think women really need this. I know I sometimes need this. It's that permission slip of like,
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed right now. If you could give moms one permission slip for 2026, I'm telling them to stop doing or finally stop.
Yeah. Wow, that's really good. Man, I would say the one thing to stop doing, or to give them permission if they're looking for it, because I always say you don't need it, right? But I think that it helps when you hear from someone else as well. I would say look internally before you decide going into the new year, all of the goals and these big accomplishments that you want to go and achieve, and look inward first as your compass, because your North Star. And I would say, whether it's the overscheduling or feeling like the kids have to be in all the activities or all the things that you say yes to, look to yourself first and maybe just pause for a moment and really look and see if that's in alignment with where you're going and growing, and make sure that that's in alignment. Because when you do that and you give yourself the pause before the yes, the no, the commitment, it will allow you to just sit with it for a moment and actually check in with yourself before you start adding on to the calendars and the lists and all the things. So I would really just say, going into the new year, do a little self-assessment first and let yourself really assess and do a little audit of what feels right for you going into the new year.
It's great. Another thing on the system side, because system I do feel is super helpful to reduce that burnout. What women build into their life for a more stress-free 2026 with like a high impact system?
Yeah. Oh, this is so good. I almost wish I would have had this advice 8, 9 years ago when I had my first son. And I don't hear this a lot on content and on podcasts, so I'm excited to share this. Build space. Build a little bit of space. Because for one, I remember years ago, everything was back to back to back. And you feel so overwhelmed, overcommitted, overscheduled. So I would say build a little bit of space, right? Like give yourself some time in between your calls. Give yourself time, even if it's 5 minutes between your work mode and then jumping into mom mode, where you can just like breathe for a minute. Because what I've noticed lately, even in my own life, is I've been giving myself more of this space. I used to joke with my makeup artist, like whenever I would have events or shoots, I would book him like back to back. So he'd come, we'd do hair and makeup, I'd get changed, I'd run out the door. And now I'm like, why? Right? It really allows us, because as you know, Sarah, as a working mom, nothing ever goes according to plan. There's kids that get sick, or something comes up, or there's traffic or a train or a bridge. We're here in South Florida. So like you're never going to regret giving yourself an extra 5 to 10 minutes of time for breathing room and just for margin of error, living life. Like how I know for me, getting my kids out the door, even having that 5 minutes, I want to go into the new year, and I'm sharing something personal here, I want to go into 2026 being like having that calm peace, right? Where you don't feel so stretched thin and you're so excited about what you're building and where you're growing that it doesn't feel rushed and overwhelmed. It actually feels really aligned. And I think that that's a great place to be, because you can still go after all your goals and dreams, but you're not coming from a place of overwhelm.
Love it. So I thought we could have a little fun and do a little lightning round with you, Sandi.
Yeah.
What would be your word of the year for 2026?
Okay, so I have to get back to you on this because I do a whole assessment of this. Like I have a whole rundown of, and I'm very strategic about how I pick my word. I mean, I write down a bunch of words that I think are my word. I look them up in the dictionary. I see how they all tie together. So I'll get back to you on that.
I love it. I love it. No, it's so good. I usually do an end of the year thing too, where I
Yeah.
go through, reflect, and then decide what the year is going to look like.
Yes.
Yes. So I totally get that. Flint, do you have a planner to write in or a digital calendar?
So I have both, but what I'll say is the digital is synced up to everyone in my support system. So everyone is on the calendar, husband, nannies, in-laws, team, like everyone's on there. So that just keeps everything together.
Love it. One system you're upgrading for yourself in 2026.
Ooh, upgrading in 2026. Again, I think it's just more of the space. It's not necessarily like a specific system, because I really have that down as it is. It's more just that breathing room in between where there's a little bit more space from task or day to day.
Morning ritual you refuse to skip in the new year.
Oh, I mean, it's always the workout. I mean, like and it's so funny. My husband, like, because of the time change, he's like, I love that I wake up and the sun is up. I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. I like when I wake up and it's dark out and y'all are just quietly sleeping and I get my 2 hours to myself. So it's the wake up before everyone and the workout.
Yes. Big money move you're excited to double down on.
Just team. My team is expanding. We just brought on some rock stars recently. And so really just continuing to build the team. And with that is more systems. And also for the women that are in my programs or do coaching with me, like we have so many exciting things coming in the new year.
One boundary you're enforcing hard in 2026.
Ooh, again, I would have to say it's building in the space, because that's something that it feels so good.
Yeah.
And I'm not letting that go.
Coffee, matcha, or lemon water? What's your 6-5?
Coffee, always the coffee. Coffee and chocolate are my two. I don't drink. I don't like, for me, it's just my vice is coffee.
I love it. A self-care ritual you want every mom to try in January.
Mm. I would say do your annual calendar planning. And I have a whole video of this on YouTube, so it's free so you can snag it. But it's really fun because you essentially get with your spouse or your partner, or you could do it by yourself. You plan out your whole year, but the catalyst is you get to make it sexy and fun. The video is literally called Sexy Calendar Planning, and you get to go to a spa and have a nice massage and a spa day, a nice lunch, and then you get your calendar and you plan out your whole year.
That's cool. That is sexy and fun.
Yes, yes.
Delegation or automation? Which one gets you excited for a fresh year?
Oh man, they're both at the top of my list.
That's a tough one, Miss.
Oh man, they're both so important. Okay, if I had to put one like just above the other, I would say automation, only because before you can delegate, you need to have a clear system in place before that person can do it properly. With automation, it kind of rolls out itself.
So true. That's always been helpful for any assistant I've ever had, like having those videos, having
Yes,
they're all set up so it's easy access for them.
exactly.
If 2026 had a soundtrack for you, what song is kicking off track one?
Oh, this is really good. I'm so not like, I wish I knew more music. I'm like, what would be my soundtrack? What usually is my walk on stage song is Sierra Level Up. And so I feel like that only because we've got the new book coming out. It'll be book launch. We have so much, like just with the book alone and Called to Lead, which is the big women's event, annual event that I do with Kelly Roach. We're doubling this year. So we'll have 500 women at the event. Now it's a 2-day event. So it's leveling up. So that's the soundtrack.
That's incredible. Congratulations. That's a really big deal.
Thank you. We're so excited about it.
Well, thank you for playing that fun game. I would like to know you better, and the audience gets to know you personally and in just a fun way. Now, I always love to leave the audience with this last question. I think it's very important. Stress comes in many shapes and sizes, but I'm curious, how has stress saved your life?
I think being a high achiever, a high performer, it has its pros and cons, right? Because you're always looking to level up. You're always looking kind of for that next accomplishment or achievements. But I think stress, on a positive note, it's the thing that keeps you hungry. It's the thing that like is constantly challenging you. And while I'm such a huge proponent of, being so grateful for where I'm at and what I have, I also think that stress, again, on a positive note, is the thing that keeps you hungry and pushing yourself to the next level. So same thing within, like I said, fitness and workouts. If you're not going harder, you're going to stay where you're at. So the positive side of stress is being able to really look at where you're at. And just like they say, how diamonds are made under pressure, it is a blessing because you get to look at what you're capable of and how you can serve others and really, change your life and essentially change the world and others around you.
So true. Sandi, this was absolutely awesome. I love that we're ending the year with this episode. So thank you for hopping on. And I want you to share with people, how can they connect with you? I don't know if you're doing pre-orders yet, but where can they grab your first book and pre-order the next book?
Thank you. Thank you so much. So pre-orders are going to start next week. So by the time this goes out, we will have pre-orders out and ready to go. But if you follow me at Sandi Glandt, SandiGlandt, you will see all of the alerts and the updates, not only for the book, but I also wanted to share with your audience, if they wanted to go grab that free Big Money Moves training, they can just head over to sandraglandt.com/big, and then they'll have that training for free. They can figure out what their big money moves are going into the new year. But really, all the platforms at Sandi Glandt on YouTube, the podcast, the TV show, all the things. And every day there's new updates or content going out.
Amazing. Thank you all again for listening. Please share your takeaways, follow Sandi, and as always, remember to be kind, and speak well to yourself on the self-love journey. Until next time, take care.
Thanks to Dan Lieber at Beckett Brown Music for the intro and outro music. You can keep in touch with me on Instagram at Sarah Elise Coaching. If you're looking to improve your health and wellness, check out my business, livewellenhanceyou.com. While you're there, join the Live Well Enhance You email list and receive exclusive offers for our wellness programs and events. Until next time, take care.